Hello and welcome to Chatterati. My guest today is Arun Nalapat, an architect based in Bangalore. Among other things, we'll be talking about traditional building methods versus modern building methods. We'll also discuss the craze for Vastu. Arun, welcome to the show.
Thank you, nice to be here.
Now, Bangalore used to be known as the pensioners' paradise. Then it became boom town. Then things eased a bit when property prices sort of flattened out or crashed. Now it's slowly developing again. You see so many properties coming up. Is this the stage then when architects like you can influence the built environment, especially in a city like Bangalore?
I guess logically that should happen, but I would probably say the builders and the clients or promoters of projects have more to do with it than the architects. We do have bylaws and guidelines which are meant to be followed, and which every sanctioned plan in Bangalore probably follows guidelines, but what eventually comes up is a different matter. So I do agree that the architect signs all these documents, but whether it is coming up, the buildings are coming up according to what he has signed, according to the plans that he has designed, that is again a different issue.
So what you might be saying, from what I gather, is it is not very easy to be creative in design if you're an architect in India, in Bangalore.
It is not easy to be, what do you say, to follow the bylaws very strictly. You may follow in your drawings, you may follow in your designing, but ultimately what the building that you build may be a little different.
Now in the West, in the US, in Europe, architecture is one of the most influential professions in today's society. Now you have worked and lived in the US. Tell us, what are the differences between architects in the US and in India?
I think the degree of professionalism is very different. An architect in the role in the US has a role of, there's a much more responsible role in developing a city and how it looks and so on. Of course, guidelines and bylaws and codes and all are followed, strictly enforced. And the issue of public safety is paramount in the US. Things, while here it's sort of a byproduct of, the more important thing is how fast can you get up the building, how much can you sell it for, and things like that. So that way the responsibility of an architect is much greater in the US.
Now I believe there's also a debate going on about traditional building methods versus modern building methods. What proponents of the traditional building methods say is that these methods are more in sync with sustainable development, environment concerns, as opposed to modern building methods. Where do you stand on this debate?
I believe that most of the methods which we are using now are only logical developments of what has been happening over time. One cannot really say that traditional building method, you can't get stuck in the past. You have to move forward and to take where technology takes you. Some new materials are coming to the market, you should embrace it fully and see how best you can use it. I believe there is a way to use new materials and still be sensitive to ecological and environmental concerns.
Now in a recent newspaper article, you talked about an imaginary city of Vasturia. And if one reads between the lines, one gathers that you are not a very great enthusiast as far as Vastu goes. Would I be right in deducing that?
Yes.
Why is that?
I think Vastu is something which has been overblown in our society. It is, I believe its effect really on the fabric of the city as a whole is probably not a very positive one. The basic problem I see it is it's a very absolute kind of system. It's a very dogmatic system. There is no ifs and buts there. There's no. It's very definitive, and there's no rationalization or justification given for certain things. For example, if you take the say a bedrooms is supposed to be in the southwest corner of a building. Now, if it is not in the southwest, then they'll say maybe, you know, ill health will come to you, or if you lose your money or something like that. Environmentally or climatologically, if you look at it, the southwest corner is the hottest because of the way the sun moves in our hemisphere, hottest point in there. So in a house, so evenings would be very, very hot in there. You know, so a guy comes back from work and his bedroom is the hottest place to be. I don't know if that's such a good thing, you know.
But even in the West, Arun, for example, they have what here they refer to as Chinese Vastu or Feng Shui. And that has many believers in Southeast Asia, in America.
Absolutely, absolutely. Feng Shui is more of an art of placement, of way things are, certain appropriate objects are kept and so on. And that, I think, in an architect, without going into Vastu and all, has some sensibility towards how things should be placed, how a building is composed, you know. The fact that you and I are sitting in a certain environment like this at a certain distance may have some impact on the kind of conversation that we have. If we are sitting on sofas in a lounge, maybe we'll talk about something else. So how the environment is shaped, how things are placed, how light comes into a room, how doors and windows are, you know, all that definitely has an impact. But I don't think there are any definitive rules.
Now let's talk a bit about whether young people are so interested in taking up careers in architecture. Is that happening, or are professions like IT, engineering, medicine still much more popular? I know they are popular, but are they much more popular than a career in architecture?
I would think so. I would think so, because it takes a long time to be a good architect. It takes the schooling that you receive is it just whets your appetite to learn, to really be an architect. So the amount of money which is available in other professions is there's a big difference between that and what an architect can earn. A young graduate may be earning 4,000 or 5,000 rupees a month, which a good driver may make, you know. So it takes a while to learn the profession. And so nowadays people want much quicker returns. You're not prepared to slog it for 5-10 years and then, you know, make it to a comfortable life. Things need to happen much faster.
So how can one actually promote the study and appreciation of architecture in a country like India? Is there an organization that can help to do that?
There is an organization called the Indian Institute of Architects, and they do have various seminars and meetings, and they discuss how to promote, how to but actually it's a trade organization kind of thing, you know. The primary concern, I believe, is to find out how architects can be benefited.
So who would your hero be then in terms of architecture? Would it be Le Corbusier, or would it be Laurie Baker?
I think neither of these people. Each of them have their own views, plus points, and more to my taste would be people like Louis Kahn or Antonio Gaudí, who's a Spanish architect, Carlos Carpa, people like that.
What about I.M. Pei and his famous Louvre Pyramid?
Oh, I.M. Pei is another great architect. In fact, I like what he said about, he said, I'd rather be good than original, which I thought was very relevant, that you first learn how to do your job well, then you think of being original and creative.
So tell me, Arun, how is technology impacting the profession? How are you using technology to build better buildings?
I think the process of building has become simpler, more streamlined. Changes in construction, better methods of putting a structure up. All these things are happening. The impact of technology is there. But I do feel that the genesis of a building still is beyond technology. It happens in your mind. And
like a work of art, like a painting,
right,
like a book.
Right. That spark, which ultimately controls and exerts an influence on everything else in the building, that still has to come from somewhere else.
What about a gadget, Arun, that if it was made available to you, it would really impact your life in the sense it could help you make buildings better, or it would help you in your professional and personal life too? What kind of gadget would that be?
I guess it would have to be something which would allow one to visualize precisely what would happen when you build something. The process of building takes, let's say, a year or 2 years, and however much you think about it, always there are surprises on the way, and the end product may not be exactly as you visualized it. It would be nice to know what happened, what would happen 2 years from now, how your building exactly would look. But of course, that will take a lot of the fun out of it also.
That's true, and that's also very interesting. So thank you so much for coming here today, Arun. It was a real pleasure talking to you. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.